So let's start this problem-solving session of Lab 3. I'll solve some programs from here for like 50 minutes. We'll start with the first one, which is a simple one. Write a Java program to print the sum of numbers from 1 to 100. So we need to find the sum of 1 to 100. And clearly these numbers are integer, so the numbers also is going to be an integer. And I believe we can do this solution using two different types of loops. I'll create the first one here, class. I'll call it LAB03. I'll call it LAB31. Tamam. And let me just give LAB31 here and give it a main method. So what we need to do is to find the sum of values from 1 to 100. So clearly we need to define integer sum is equal to 0. Do you all agree with this? You need to initialize it. Our loop will start with for loop. For integer I, this is something new. We need to define the integer in Java. I is less than or equal to 100. So 100 is included. I plus plus, and that's it. Now what to do inside the loop? Sum plus equal what, ya banat? Sum plus equal what? I. That's it. And the loop, you can put it inside a block or without a block, it's up to you. But since it's one statement, that's fine. After the loop, you can output the sum, and it should be 50-50. 50-50, I means 5050. So here we get the solution 5050. I'll do the same one with the while loop. So let us define a new sum. I'll call it sum w, which is equal 0. And I'll do a while loop. I need a counter for while loop. So integer c is equal to 1. While loop needs a while loop and condition while c is less than or equal to 100. Do you agree, Abanat? Must be less than or equal to 100. Sum w now here plus equal what? C. And do not forget to increment c. Does that make sense? If it's plus 1 in Java, you can say c plus plus. Or you can also still say what? C plus equal what? 1. But C plus plus is known that to increment 1, and that's it. So same loop here. If you look at the statements, this is here, and the condition is here, and the increment, or they call it update, is here. So now I'll also output both sums. So sum W here. So I calculated sum using for loop and sum W using what? While loop. We should get the same result, and I believe it's straightforward. Let's see the second question. It might seem simple for starters, but for those who have been programming before, they know there is a kind of a caveat here, or they know like a trick. Write a Java program to swap what? What is a swap? Exchange. And exchange, I'll use an example from Muhammad Hassan, and he knows I have been using his example for 30 years. Tamam. Look at this, ya banat. Here, I will draw something. You need to understand it. Here, we have orange juice, let us say. What's this? Cup. Orange juice. Tamam. And here we have another cup that is mango juice. ماشي الحال? Okay. And this is mango. You need to swap the cups. يعني you need to put the orange juice here and the mango juice here. Can you do it directly? What do you need in the middle? You need some kind of an empty bottle that is equivalent to both of them, يعني one at a time. So what you need to do now? You need to put the orange juice here, then what? Put the mango juice here, and take the orange juice from here to here. Does that make sense? What do we call this variable in programming? Temp, or temporary variable. So if you have two values and you need to swap them, you must use a third value, temporary value. Let's see this in code. Create here another one for LAB32, and I'll call it LAB32. Okay, create a main method, and that's it. So let's say integer x is equal to 10, and integer y is equal to 20. We need to swap them. What to do? We need a third variable, صح ولا لا, right? So can I say integer z is equal x? So now, the value of x is stored in what? So I'm not gonna lose it, صح ولا لا? So now, can I change the value of x? Can I say x is equal to y? Now what's gonna happen? At this moment, first time, z is equal to what, ya banat? What's the, okay, now for line 8, what's the result of line 8? X is equal to what? X is equal to what? 20, صح? Right. What's the last step now? So do you want me to call this temp? Maybe it's going to be easier, صح? So now temp is equal to what? Now, what to do? One step is, now y, x is going to be 20, which is the value of y. Now I need the value of x in y, and the value of x has been stored where? So now y is equal to temp. Do you all agree? طيب, sys out now here, x plus I comma, and here I have plus y, and I'll do this before and after what? The swap. تمام. I'll do it here and there. Run. It was 10, 20, and now it has been, both of them have been swapped. Does that make sense? It's already recorded, okay? The video will be there available after right after the hack. So now, in general, to swap two variables, you cannot just say swap this. No. This needs what? We need what? A temp variable. Any question on this? Fine, clear. So let's go to the third question. Write a program that computes the sum of digits in what? Of an integer. We need the sum. See here, the example, 2, 5. What is the sum of 2 and 5? 7. But this needs a loop and needs some work. If this is your first time doing it, you need to watch here. So let us just, it's a way that is different from the way you have been doing programming. How? Let us say we have this value, 3, 5, and 7. What is their sum? 3 plus 5 plus 7, which is what? 15. طيب, what do we need then, يا بنات? We need to isolate. We take the numbers one by one, صح ولا لا? يعني, for example, I need to take this number first, صح? Alone, right? And then take what? This number what? Alone. And then take what? This number what? Alone. يا بنات, I will tell you one more thing. To take the first number, you can use modulus 10. يعني, do you all agree that 357 modulus 10 is going to be what? What is the باقي القسمة? 7. صح ولا لا? Anything you do modulus 10 is going to give you the first digit. صح ولا لا? So to take 7, now what you're going to get? Of any digit, the first digit, you do what? Calculate what? Modulus what? Another example, 773 modulus 10. What's the value? 3. Does that make sense? 89 891 modulus 10 is equal to what? 1. Even 70 modulus 10 باقي القسم كم? 0. صح ولا لا? So is modulus gonna give us the first digit? Yes or no? طيب. After you take the first digit, let us say here 7. خلاص, you don't want it to be in the number, you want to remove it. Now I told you how to get it, modulus 10. طب how to get rid of it? كيف تتخلصوا منه؟ ايش اسمها هاي؟ ايه هيك راح تكتبي integer division what? So 357 integer division 10. In Python يا بنات, you needed to use integer division. But in Java, the default is what? integer division لأنه both are what integer. So what is the result of this 35 صح. So if you divide by 10 you get rid of the first digit. Does that make sense؟ طب استنوا ها 891 divided by 10 in Java what 89. So now do you agree on if you want to get the first digit modulus 10, if you want to get rid of the first digit integer division 10? Does that make sense? So now we go back to code and we create a new code here, new class, and let's call it LAB03. Does that make sense, ya banat? So I can do output here or input from the user, but let us just make it a number. Huh? Integer x is equal this much. Good. Yalla. Okay. What do we need to calculate? Sum of digits. صح ولا لا? So can I call it integer sum is equal to 0? Do you agree, ya banat? Here. Does that make sense? Yalla. Now we need to see what to do. Again, we said what? How to get to the first digit? The second digit? No. Get rid of it. طيب. While. Because this, we need a loop here, ya banat. The question did not say a specific number of digits. It say any number. So you need a loop. While what? First, before we do the loop, I will need a temporary value. Integer. Let us say this is n. The input of the user is what, ya banat? I'll say integer x is equal to n. Do you want to know why I use this? Because I will keep n. Because if I keep dividing n, at the end of the loop, I lose the original input from the user. Tamam. So now, while x, while x what? X divided by 10 is not equal to what? Or while x is greater than 0. Do you agree? Let us see. Maybe this is not the right thing. Yalla. Now tell me, integer D1, digit 1. How to get it, ya banat? Yalla بسرعة. X modulus 10. Did we get the first digit? Do you all agree? Then sum is equal to sum plus D. Did we get it? D1. صح ولا لا? طيب. Now, what is sum? What do you think sum is going to be? 5. And, okay, D was 5. Now, what should I do? I need to get rid of 5, صح? Can I say x is equal x divided by what? So now, x is equal to x integer division by 10. It will give me 346. Do you agree? طيب. Second time, what's going to happen? The number will be what? It will take what from it? 6, صح? تمام. أنا to make your life easy يا بنات, I want you to see all of them. I want to see x. تمام؟ شوفوا. Okay. X is equal to plus x. تمام؟ plus. ايش بدي كمان؟ D1 is equal to plus D1. تمام؟ plus. طبعا n is not going to change. صح ولا لا؟ What do you want now from me? Sum, صح? Sum is equal to and plus what? Sum. So I want you inside the loop to see all these things. Does that make sense? طيب يلا خلينا نشوف. والله مش متأكد أنا على فكرة my solution is right or no. I just came from a Python class, so you need to excuse my syntax problems. تمام. Here what should I put? X, صح? يلا let's see this. Is it correct? Is it D1, 5, 6, 4, and what? طيب, let me just do some spaces here. تمام? Let me do some spaces so when you look at the output, you know it's not a Photoshop, صح? Okay. So X was what? After the first round, X was 3, 4, 6, yes? And what? D is 5 and sum is what? Then X is equal to what? 34. Are we taking the first digit every time? Okay, صح? طيب. So here, before the loop only, before the loop, I'll output X, صح? So our here I'll say x is equal to, and here plus x. Tamam. So now I will run this يا بنات. This is x. Is our code working fine? See, we get the first digit here, add it second digit, and remove it here. So how to get the first digit always? How to get rid of it? Dividing by 10. In Java, the default division is integer division. Tamam. Okay. So now after the loop, I can say sys out. What here? What should I say here after the loop? Sys out. شوفوا يا بنات. Sum of digits in what? Plus n. Yes or no? Do you see why I needed n? Because otherwise I cannot find the is equal to, so plus what? Equal to, and what should I put here? Finally what? Sum. Let's run this and make sure it works fine. Sum of digits is 18. Let us give you another input here. 98756. And let's see the run here. And I believe it's working fine. 17, صح? 24, and 11, 35. Any question, ya banat? Is it clear how a big problem can be divided into smaller problem? Tamam. So if the number was what? Let us just give a quick number. The number is 7, 8, 9. Okay, modulus 10, what's going to happen? Is equal to what? 9. We add this to sum, yes or no? Type. Now I take the same number, 7, 8, 9, divided by 10. What's going to happen? 78. صح? Did we get rid of 9? Now 78 modulus 10 is equal to what? 8. We take this where? Sum, right? And then 78 divided by 10 is equal to what? 7. We take 7 now. 7 modulus 10 is equal to 7, صح? We take this to sum, and 7 divided by 10 is what? Is 0, صح ولا لا? So we stop here when the number reaches 0. Write a Java program to print the numbers between 1 and what? يلا يا بنات, look here. Between what? 1 and which are divisible by, or what? And by both. يعني numbers that are divisible by 3 and number that are divisible by what? Or numbers that are divisible by what? By the way, the question is easy, but I want you to see this output later. Let us first, whenever you see a problem, يا بنات, break it down into small problems. So we need just to output إحنا. So I'll go here. What question is this? New class. We will say LAB34, right? Okay, LAB3, 4 with a main method. So clearly it's going to be a for loop. صح ولا لا? Between 1 and 100. تمام. So let's just do it here. For integer I is equal to 1, I is less than or equal to 100, and I plus plus. Does that make sense? So now inside this loop, if I modulus 3 is equal 0, then what? I is divisible by what? I is divisible by what? 3. صح ولا لا? Tamam, excellent. What else? What should I do next? If what? I is modulus 5 is equal 0, sorry, then what? I is divisible by what? Then if I modulus 3, sorry, I modulus 3 أو كيف is equal what? 0. كيف نعمل and في الجافا? And I modulus 5 is equal what? 0. So this is our if statement, صح؟ طيب يا بنات, أنا هلا في اللحظة هاي I'm just gonna output a simple thing because it seems like the question is about the output. Divisible, look here, divisible by 3, which is what? Here. I, صح? I will take here and say what? Divisible by what? 5, and here I will say divisible by 3 and 5. Do you agree? تمام. يلا run. Divisible by 3, divisible by 5, divisible by 3, divisible by 3 and 5. Which one? صح. 15. تمام. Do you see this? ممكن يجي here 30. Do you know that? صح ولا لا? 45. Does that make sense يا بنات? So far, is the question complicated? I don't think so. But I'm not sure actually they wanted this, but I like the question now. Please look here. We want the output to be like this. What's this? Divisible by 3. We want the numbers like this. Divisible by what? And divisible by 3 and 5. Okay, do you agree يا بنات؟ طب استنوا شوي. By the way, we can do this. We did not so far, you did not cover arrays and lists in the class. We will do this using strings. You will understand the solution. Maybe it's unpredicted or you did not expect it, but let us see. I want the output to be exactly like this. So let's see what I'm going to do. Before the loop, I'm going to say string div3 is equal to divisible by what? I will not care about your comments now, and once you see the solution, maybe you'll like it. And then I'll make another string called divisible by what? And I'll call the string what? And I make a third string divisible 3 and 5, and I'll say here what? And what? Right. That's خلاص. Now, I have 3 strings, and you see, new line here, صح? Now, what do you want me to do? Div3 plus what, Ululi? I add the I to the string. Did you get this, ya banat? I and plus space. Is it a good idea to add a space? So now what happens? When you reach 3, what's going to happen? It will add 3, and after 3, what? To which string? طبعا now we know that this is going to happen also at what? Here I just need to make this division by what? 5. And finally here I need to do what? Plus equal what? I and look at it. Look at it. Well, I'm not 100% sure they want it like this, but I want it like this now. Look, Abanat, what's going to happen now? Tell me. This is string. What will be added to it when you reach 3? 3 and space. Yes or no? This string, what will be added to it when you reach 5? Type. Now, after the end of the loop, I will say sysout div3, and I will say also sysout div what? 5, and here I will say div3 and what? 5. Let us see the output. Did you get it? What is 3 and 5? Divisible by, do you see the output? Whether you like it or not, that's another thing, صح? طب let us see here. Oh, do you see here? Instead of plus equal, I made a huge mistake. What is it? That's why we see the last digit. صح ولا لا? Run, يلا. So, we understood the algorithm, how to solve the problem. Then we saw no, but we need the output to be in what? This way. We took advantage of string concatenation. We used plus. Tamam? So when we use plus, so we got the answer. I believe this is exactly what they want, right? Does that make sense? So you see, solve the problem one step at a time, and that's it. Go to the next question, ya banat. Okay. Write a Java program that accepts how many integers from the user and prints equal if what? If all are equal and what? How to check if 4 numbers are equal, ya banat? How to check that? If A is equal B and what? And B is equal C and C is equal D. You know in math this is enough. In mathematics this is enough, because if you say if A is equal B and B is equal C, and it will not be true unless, so it's very simple here. If you have 4 numbers like this, if you have 4 numbers A, B, C, D, how do you know if they are equal? You will say if A is equal what? and what? And B is equal what? C, and C is equal D. You studied this in math, yes or no? Yani this is enough to compare all of them. تمام? I know some people will say if A is equal B and A is equal C and A is equal D and E is equal, oh, that's fine. تمام. But يعني, if it's mathematically correct, we don't care. We are teaching you here what? Java. تمام. So now خلاص, the question is clear, right? So what do I need in the question? New what? Class. And here he will call it LAB35 with the main method. So how many inputs I have? First, I need to import what? Import java.util.scanner. Tamam. Tamam. Good. Khalas. Now, how we have yalla scanner. I'll call it cn equals new scanner and system.n. We said system.n means what? The keyboard, which is the default input. Yalla khalas. Now I'll have what? Let me just give the user a message, enter an integer. Tamam? And here, what should I say, Abanat? Let me define 4 integers, صح? Integer what? A, comma, B, comma, C, and what? D. Enter 4 integer, or I can say enter what? 4 what? Integers, and here A is equal to what? Cn dot what? Next int, but the user maybe get confused. Yani this is not the best way to do it. Tamam. And here what? Next cn dot what? Next integer, and we do the same for what? C and D. Does that make sense, ya banat? I still prefer giving a separate what? Separate message, tamam, to the user. Now, what is our if statement? Yalla. If A is equal what? And B is equal what? And, you know, and all of C is equal what? Then we say what? Sys out all values are what? Equal. صح? Else, what do we say here in Java? Else sys out what? Some value. Okay. Okay. One or more values are different. Do you get this, ya banat? Now, yalla, let me run this. I need to enter 4 digits, ya banat. انتبهوا, 4 numbers. 9, 9, 9, 9. All values are what? Equal. Run here. 9, 9, 8, and 9. 1 or more values are different. So this is what kind of a complicated way of comparisons. You have 4. With 4 you need 3 comparisons and -1 comparisons. Is the question clear? I still enter A. I prefer to do this way, ya banat. Yani I hate to not to tell the user exactly what value I'm expecting, because this is the root of all bugs. So here you see a difference now. صح ولا لا؟ يعني اشربوا شوية مي وتحملوا واعملوا اليوزر, make the user happy. Okay, because now 6, 6, 6, and 7. Does that make sense? يعني there is a big difference between what was and what is it now. I'll move to the next question and let us see. I will skip this because I already solve it or will solve it, no problem. I'll go to number 7, which is what? Write a program that prompts for what? 2 numbers. Print the sum. Well, very easy, صح? Difference and what? And quotient. All of these things are very easy, but there is one trap here, one caveat. What is it? The values received from the user are what? يعني the data you have. You remember in Python when you read from files, it will be a string, صح? You need to convert it to what? To integer or a float. Tamam. So here they tell you expect that the values you are receiving are what? So this is very easy. It takes 1 minute, صح ولا لا, to do the right, but we need what? So let's see here now. If I go here and create the code for this program, so I believe LAB37, صح? With a main method. So how many values I need here? And by the way, they are what? They are strings صح ولا لا؟ تمام. So I'll just go to the previous code and cheat somewhat. What did we forget in the previous code? We forgot to close what? cn dot close. Okay. And now here I just need this scanner here. Tamam. So now, okay. So now A is equal to what? cn dot next. This is a string, صح ولا لا? And B is equal to what? cn dot, for whatever reason, يا بنات. Why we want you to see this? Because there are many times when you use graphics or graphical user interfaces or read from files, the data will be a string. Tamam? So you need to use the data as what? As high. And I could do it in many other ways, but now خلاص, since we did it there here, so enter A. Tamam? Is it a good idea here? And also I'll tell the user to what? Enter B. So our problem now, we cannot do calculations. صح? We need to do what? Parse them. Parse them. صح? This is a string, right? How to parse them? خليكم معي. I'll call them integer x. How to convert a string integer dot. دوروا معي هيك. دوروا. في عندنا كلمة parse what? Parse what? Parse integer. يعني افرزوا. يعني غالبا is a string of A. So now, what do you think X is going to be? The integer value of the digits in the string A. Does that make sense? Now, and خلاص, is it clear? طيب. Integer Y, parse integer in where? In B. طبعا I'll just show you, did it work or no? I'll do X times what? If X times Y is going to work, then what? Let us see if this. Integer A, 9. Integer B, 9. Did we get 81? So these are what? Number. يا بنات, this could be also float. طيب, خليكم مني, This is integer. What did we use here? Parse integer. طيب, I'll make another example here, String K is equal to, this is a string, يا بنات, 4.56. Did you get this? And here string, okay, and M is equal to what? 7 or whatever. Does that make sense, يا بنات? Now I want these values, this is a float or double, tamam? For each class, there is integer and float class that parse double. Okay, let us see now. So I want float, for example. A float is float, for example, n, whatever value, is equal. See here, float dot parse what? هلا ما راح تحكوا بعد هيك ما اعطانا double. Did you get it? تمام. طيب وانا I want m to be double. بس هيك عناد. Now what? Double. I want to show you double. ايش هنحط n. يلا اي حرف s. Okay, is equal to double dot what? Parse what? Did you get this, يا بنات? So now convert a string with an integer. Sometimes you get this from a file, you get it from internet, you get it from inputs, from whatever, from wrong input, like here. Next will give you wrong inputs. So float, integer, parse integer, integer parse integer, float parse float, double parse what? And this will return which type? Here s will be what? Float. And did we solve this problem, ya bana? Does that make sense? So in Java, there are three main ones: integer parse integer, float parse float, and what? Double parse what? Double. Any question?
So we can say data type to print which names in Python?
Yeah, but this is primitive data type. It's not a class. If it's a class, I'll show you get name. You will take this this week in the. So let us just output here. Let's make sure n times s is going to work. So enter A فوق هناك تمام. And n times s, did it work, يا بنات? So now the entire question was about not how to multiply and divide. It was about when you get non-numeric data as text, whether, and I did three of them, whether integer or float or double, how to get from those things, how to get what? the integer value or the numeric value, sorry, not the numeric, because it could be float or double or anything like that. So let's see, maybe we have another question. Okay, so values received will be what? Ensured what? To convert. يعني احنا before doing your math you need to convert them, and now you remember all these things. Let us see if we skipped one here. I skipped number 6, which is what? You remember this program from where, Bjuz? From Python. Did you see it? How many seconds in 1 hour? 3600. How many seconds in a minute? Again, ya banat, it's all about using integer division and what? It's all about it, huh? طيب. If I give you number of seconds, I need you to tell me what? The time. How many hours and how many seconds and how many what? Here. So now, what was this question? 36, right? And here I will say lab 36, and let me just make all of them. Okay, and click what? So now the user is going to input what, ya banat? The user is going to input what? Input what? Input number of seconds, صح ولا لا? طيب, okay. So now here, seconds, or I'll call it S أنا, okay? Total seconds, or all S, all seconds, for a reason, all seconds. And here what I'm going to tell the user? cn.next integer, صح ولا لا? Right? Is it integer, ya banat? Next what? And that's it. Now, what did I forget here? I need to tell the user also what? Here I need to say integer. Okay, all seconds. And here sys out what to tell the user? How many seconds, for example. Now we need to convert those seconds to what? Hours and minutes. How high? The question could be days and weeks and months, but because number of days and number of days in a month is not the same, so that's why it's very complicated. So let's go to this one. Yalla. How many seconds? How many hours in this? Is it integer division 3600? خليكم معي. 5000 seconds. كم ساعة فيهم؟ 1. صح؟ طب 4000 كم ساعة فيهم؟ 3600 صح ولا لا؟ 3600. So 1 hour. The remainder is minutes صح ولا لا؟ So خلاص. The easiest thing is to calculate is what? يعني أنا I can say integer hours equals all seconds صح؟ All seconds integer divided by 3600, and this is the number of what? Hours. طيب مش عاجبنا خلينا نشوف هون. طيب I'll just output this out to make sure are we doing things right or no. We need to make sure we are doing the first step right. Here I'll just do hours يا بنات. تمام. Hours تمام plus ايش قلنا؟ Hours تمام. And someone okay is going to say double quotes. I will do this. ماشي الحال. So now في غلط? Hours, yes. Run. So here I'll enter 4000. There is only 1 hour in it, صح? So I'll enter big number like 8000 في ساعتين لأنه 7200 بيكونوا صح؟ So are we doing the first step right? Are we doing this? طيب. Now, if I give you 4000 seconds, if I give you 4000 seconds, تمام؟ ماشي؟ 4000 seconds. So out of this, 3600 will be in the first hour, صح ولا لا? Now the remaining should be in minutes, صح ولا لا? So how many seconds remaining to calculate? It is this minus what? يعني كم دقيقة ضايل عنا؟ 400 seconds, right? بدنا نشوف كم دقيقة فيهم. طيب على فكرة سهلة القصة. How remainder? How many are remaining? سهلة فكروا فيها. I'll say integer remainder is equal to what? All seconds فكروا فيها موديولس 3600. موافقين ولا لا؟ هلا بقول لكم. يلا بنرجع هون. 4000 تقسيم 3600 واحد. موافقين؟ طيب 4000 موديولس 3600 كم باقي القسمة؟ هو واحد صح؟ باقي القسمة 400. يس اور نو يا بنات؟ يعني هلا إذا عرفنا من الوحدة، لو بدنا نعرف 20 يوم كم أسبوع فيهم؟ نعمل قسمة على 7. إذا بدنا نعرف كم يوم بيطلعوا مش داخل الأسبوع، نعمل موديولس 7. فاهمين علي كيف القصة؟ خلاص إذا وصلت لنا الفكرة هاي ناو ريميندر وصلت هون. عشان برضو ما تعصبوا علي وتقولوا أعطانا أي كلام. هلا راح أقول له إيش هون؟ كم ثانية ضل عنا؟ بعد هيك خلصنا. إذا حلينا هاي الخطوة الثانية وي ار دون يا بنات. تمام. ريميندر ايش هون؟ بدنا نقول له بلس وات؟ ريميندر. بدي اعطيه 4000. عندنا 1 اور وكم ضايل ثواني؟ بس خلصنا. واي خلصنا؟ because minutes is equal to remainder صح؟ remainder divided by 60. لحظة لسه في، يعني هلا لو جيت هنا 400 تقسيم 60 كم راح يعطيني؟ 7 420 راح يعطيني 6 ب 60 360 صح؟ طيب 400 على 60 راح يعطيني المينتس. طيب 400 موديولس 60 شو راح يعطيني؟ السكند صح ولا لا؟ راح يعطيني 40 صح ولا لا؟ خلصنا. اذا هير بدي اقول له ايش؟ طبعا انا شغال جافا وشغال بايثون وشغال سي بلس بلس. هير بدي اقول له انتجر وات؟ seconds equal what? remainder. يا بنات يمكن تشوفوا solution لهذا نفسه بس بخطوه واحده. I prefer أنا using this. يلا هلا نعمل الاوتبوت تبعنا عاد. اوكي what's the output here؟ نحط hours، بعدين هون بدي احط minutes، وبعدين هون بدي احط ايش كمان؟ ايش؟ seconds. تمام وبس. وبعد هيك راح نروح next line. you remember format print what here? print f. so what do we want here? percent صح في الجافا. وايش بدي انا؟ hours صح؟ hours. وبعدين شو بدي احط هون؟ لا مش هيك في الجافا. percent 5d صح؟ هيك. بعدين بدي احط spaces، وبعدين percent 5d، وبعدين بدي احط spaces، بعدين percent 5d. بس هاي الشكلي. تمام. ايش الفاليوز اللي حطيناهم؟ عندنا اول فاليو ايش هو؟ hours وكاما what؟ minutes. hopefully يطلع كويس الاوتبوت. we will see this and done here. run. enter how many seconds. هلا I don't care about how many seconds. hours 2 hours 28 minutes 29 seconds. does that make sense يا بنات؟ so now to make our output يعني look nice here, we can go here and run and I can give any value now and give me 18 hours 8 minutes and whatever. let us give an example that we know. أنا عندي 670 seconds اللي هي ساعة ودقيقة و10 ثواني صح ولا لا؟ 1 minute 1 hour 1 minute and what? 10 seconds. and توتا خلصنا. okay record. write a Java program that takes 2 points from the user. You know this question, distance x1 and x2, y1 and y2 whatever, x2 and y2. calculate the distance given the formula. enter 4 integers of integer values هون طالبين. يعني هم actually يعني should not be integers here. should not be integers يعني can be any values the distance. so I'll make them what أنا. so let us solve this. This is very we did this question in Python. So now what's our input here? Our input is x1, y1 and x2, y2. So this is question number 10. So I'll continue here and I'll create a class here. I'll call it LAB0310. I'll post all the code later because نسيت الكود على الجهاز اللي اشتغلت عليه. So now the question is number 10 in lab 3. This is the question. Our input is x1, y1, x2, y2. This needs an input from the user. So we need a scanner first. A scanner cn equals new scanner and system.n. And to get the import statement, just go here and click on import statement. So now I need 4 floats or 4 doubles. I double x1, y1, x2, y2, and this is going to be input from the user. I need a message now to tell the user to input some values here. I'll start with enter x1 and how to read a double. It will be x is equal to cn next double. Does that make sense? Next double. So this is the first one. Now I need to read the remaining parts, x1 here. I need to read the remaining four coordinates here. Then y1 here. y1. And tell the user enter y1. And then x2. Enter x2. And finally y2. And the user now inputs all of them. Once I have all of them, I can calculate the distance. Let us see how the distance is calculated. It's not a big deal here. So I need to define distance. And in this case, yeah, distance is double also. Distance. So distance is double distance. And let us see how distance is going to be done. Distance is equal to, okay, distance is equal to what? We need the power here. We will use power, x2 minus x1. So math dot power. In Java, no need to import math. Power x2 minus x1 and to what power? 2. This is the first part of it. I did this, the first part here. Plus, same thing but for y. Plus, I'll do same thing here. y2 minus y1. And finally, everything here, all of this, I need the square root of all of this, yeah, Banat, right? I need the square root of all of this. In Java, the square root also, I'll put all of this in parentheses. In Java also, you can use math.sqrt of this. So did you see how I wrote the expression now? Okay, make sure this is the first one. Yes. So this is the square of x2 minus x1, square y2 minus y1, and all of this is what is square rooted. Let's do the output. Sys out. Let's do the output formatted, yeah, Banat. Formatted the output here. I will say distance between I'll put the values here now. %f, comma, %f. This is the first point. And %f, comma, %f, okay, is equal to %f. So what is our values here? The first one will be x1, y1, x2, y2, and finally distance. So our output should be somehow formatted like this. So this is the %f, first point here, x, first point y. Let us test it. I'll see the example here. I'll enter 4274, tamam, and see, run, enter x1, 4, 2, 7, 4. Distance is 3.60. Let us see the question here. Did we guess? We did calculate it right. Our output is not that nice. Do you see so many zeros here, ya banat? So I just want 1 0. So how to format this? Point F, point, instead of point F, point dot 1F. So all of them, I'll make them point dot 1F, dot 1F, dot 1F, and finally dot 1F for distance here. I will run it again. 4274. And one of them was not formatted. Two of them, wallahi. Only the first one was done right. I might have done something wrong. Where is the code here? %1F. %1F. All of them here. %1F. %1F. And this is also %1F. %1F. Okay. So hopefully this is, I think this one is also wrong. %1F. All of them, I believe, now are right. Finally, I do 4274. So the output, I believe, is a good output. Distance between whatever first point, whatever second point is 3.6. This is a question 1. It was only getting the input from the user, applying the mathematical equation, and getting the output formatted nicely. Finally, I need to close the input stream, and this is all about it. Let us see here if you have any questions now. And this one needs some kind of what? Write a program. You need to understand this question. I believe you have been given so many similar examples in Python, and now we do the same thing in Java. This is a loop, but a different loop. Write a Java program that keeps accepting numbers from the user until a negative value is entered. Yani the new thing here, we don't know how many values the user is going to enter. What we know is we need to quit once the user input what? A negative value. So our condition for this loop, we call it sentinel condition. The loop continues as long as the input is not a negative value. Once the user inputs a negative value, we quit. The program then calculates the number of entered values. So this is our output. Pay attention to this. The program then calculates number of entered values, their sum, and their average. Format the output to show 2 decimal places, which is very simple. I just did. So now let us see this kind. There are many ways how to solve this problem, girls, but we will do it in a way. Okay, let us see here. This is question 11, and let me create here a solution for question 11. LAB311, and with a main method. So let us see how this program needs to work. Let us solve it step by step. The numbers are integers, and so here I'll say integer value, comma, and sum is equal to 0. Double, you know, the average is not going to be double AVG. And integer count. You know why count is needed? We need to know we need to know how many values entered by the user. So count is initially what? Count is initially 0.
So let us see how this is gonna be done. What is our condition here? The condition keeps getting values as long as the value is not negative. طيب, I will do it يا بنات using break. I'll do it using break. I'll then solve it with another way. I will say here while true. Remember, true in Java is a small t. It's not like Python, capital T. False is also small f. While true means this loop is gonna go forever. But we will not make it go forever. Let us create our scanner here. Cn equals new scanner and system.in. Tamam. And just add the import statement. Our scanner is ready. Now we will take a value from the user. Sysout. I'll tell the user enter an integer or negative to quit. Do you get this, ya banat? The user is going to see this message. Enter an integer or negative to quit. Let us read the integer, which is value is equal to cn.next integer. Any question? So inside the loop, this loop currently is going forever. However, now the user inputs the first value. What do we need to do? Tell me, what do we need to do here? The first thing to do is to check if the value is negative or not. If the value is negative, that's it, خلاص. If value is less than 0, if the value is less than 0, I will do one thing, which is what? Break. If the value is less than 0, break. خلاص, don't continue. That's it. The remaining steps are easy. The remaining steps I need to. The remaining steps, yani, I mean in line 14 here, if I come to line 14, it means what? The value is not a negative value. So I will say sum plus equal value, and I'll say count plus plus. That's all. That's خلاص. We are done. This loop, if I enter 5, it will take 5. 5 is not negative, so this part will be skipped. 5 will be added to sum and count will be incremented. It will go again. Enter a value, negative to quit. The moment I enter a negative value, break here in line 13 will be executed and I'll come outside the loop. Now outside the loop, I need to calculate average. AVG is equal what? Double. You know, both are integers. So this is average. Does that make sense? Because average is double. Sum is integer, count is integer. We need to use some kind of casting here. خلاص now. That's it. So sysout. And they say we need the output formatted. So printf here. I will say here sum is equal to %d, which is integer, comma, average is equal to %.2f for the average, and that's it, comma here, sum and AVG. Let me add one more thing here. You entered %d values. %d means count. How many values were entered? So I'll use first thing I'm gonna do here is count. So this is my code now. After the loop, I'll output you entered this number of values. Sum is equal to and average is equal to. Count and sum are integers, so we use %d. Average is what? Floating point. Finally, I also need to close what? Cn.what here, close, and that's it. Yeah, Banat, I need to run this. I need you to watch how things work. Run. I need you to see both the code and the yalla. Now we go inside the loop. Now this is line 10, waiting for me to do my first input. I will enter 7. 7 will be stored in value. It will be checked. Is it less than 0? No. So 7 now will go and be added to sum. Count will be incremented and it will go again to the beginning of the loop. Excellent. I will enter 8. 8 is not a negative value. I entered 99, 34, whatever value. As long as the value is not negative, your loop continues forever. Now I am done. I have no more inputs here. So I need to input a negative value, whatever value, -1. So now I am here at line 11. I did not press enter. I input -1. The moment I press enter, this if statement is going to be true and break will work, so it will come out of the loop to line 17, where it is going to calculate what? It is going to calculate the double average and this one. I'll press enter. Let us see the output here. You entered 8 values. Sum is equal to this much and average is equal to that much. So it is a while true loop. Once the user inputs the value that is not allowed, or it means the end of input, you use break, which comes out of the loop, and then you process the totals. Inside the loop, ya Banat, we do not do average. Average can only be calculated once you quit the loop, because after the loop only you know the final sum and the final count. However, sum must be done inside the loop. Now I'll see if we have some questions. And let me see the next example here. No more examples. And this is easy, number 9. Let us see what's number 9. Right, multiplication table, جدول الضرب, for numbers 0 through 12. يعني, what is the condition here? What they want us to use? They want us to use nested loop. Yalla, let's do it now. And here I have what? Multiplication table. And let me just close this and create a new class here. I believe LAB03 is the question, and create a main method. Nested loop. 2 loops. This is outer loop. For integer, out is equal to 0. Out is less than or equal to 12. Out plus plus. Did you understand it? So our outer loop will start from 0 until 12. Now we need to multiply 0 times 0, 0 times 2, 0 times whatever. I need an inner loop now for integer. I'm using this names here, Banat, to make it easy. Integer I is equal to what? Inner equal to 0, inner less than or equal to 12, and inner what? Plus plus. Does that make sense? So now we have 2 loops here. Inner and outer loop. For each value in the outer loop, the inner loop will go from 0 to 12. Yani when out is 0, the inner will go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until 12. Then the inner loop finishes. It comes out to the outer loop. Outer loop will be 1. Again, for 1, the inner loop will go from 1 to 12. بس خلاص. Now they want the output. Let us see the output. Multiplication table. Let me make it printf here. Okay. I will say here %d times, I'll use x, ya banat. %d, which is the inner, equals %d. كله integer. Now my output will be outer, inner, and the result of what? Out سميته أنا here. Okay, and their multiplication, which is out times inner. Look at this now. This is our output. This will be out. First time it will remain 0. First time inner will go 0, 1 to 12, and this is the output. And I need a new line. Let us see the output here. Run. I think it's right. Let's see it. 0 times 0, 0 times 1 times 2 times 3. And now 1. 1 times 0 times 1 times 2 times 3 times 12. Do you see how? This is the outer loop, this is the inner loop. 2, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 12. 3. And this is right, I believe this is what? This is the solution. Very simple. 2 loops, one for the outer counter and the inner. What you need to remember always, for each iteration in the outer loop, the inner loop will go all iterations. This is a pizza. Write a program that's evenly divide pizza. Prompt. This is integer division, يا بنات. Prompt the number of people, the number of pizzas, and the number of slices per pot. What is the question here? And the number of slices per pizza. How many people? How many pizzas? لاحظوا في الexample here يا بنات. I don't see the number of slices per pizza. I don't see the number of slices per pizza. Each person get 2 pieces and there will be 1 left over. You know what's this? It's easy, very easy. But one piece is missing here from the lab guide. So they will ask us how many people you have and how many pizzas and how many slices per pizza. You know, لو عنا 5 أشخاص والبيتزا فيها 7، ما راح نقول الشخص باخذ 1.5، راح نقول الشخص باخذ كل واحد واحدة وبضل 2 left over. فهمتوا علي؟ يعني division عادية و remainder. That's it. And since we have 10 minutes, we will solve this one, the last one. And what's the question number here? The question is 8. And let us just class and lab 38. And this is it. So let us remember the question needs input from the, so we need a scanner cn equals new scanner and system.in, and make sure you import the, by just coming here, import java.util. Now, our input integer, people, pizzas, and slices, slices, pp, per pizza. Does that make sense? This is our input. We need to tell how many people and how many pizzas and how many slices per pizza. Let us prompt the user. How many persons? So now my input is integer. So I'll say people is equal to cn.next integer. Okay, good. And I will ask the next question. I have 2 questions. How many pizzas here? And this one is going to be pizza. Sorry. This one is going to be pizzas, reading from the user. And how many slices per pizza? And this also will be slices per pizza. So I am done with the input here. All the input is done, so I can close my input stream. Now, it's very easy. You can calculate the total number of slices by multiplying pizza and slices per pizza. So here I'll say integer total slices, because people eat pizza by slice, صح? Okay, total slices is equal to pizzas multiplied by, okay, slices per pizza. So I know how many total slices. بس خلاص. If you want to know how many slices per person, so integer slice per person, لا. Slice, okay. خلينا نقول share. حصة الشخص is equal total slices divided by people. صح؟ طبعا remember, this is not going to give us what? Leftovers. يعني لو عندنا 40 سلايس 40 سلايس على 5 راح يعطينا 8. بس لو عندنا 43 سلايس على 5 ما راح يعطينا 8 8 وربع، راح يعطينا بس 8. طيب left integer left over اللي بيضلوا نفس الشيء total slices integer division what? People. بس خلاص. That's it. So this out, this out. Okay. printf helps us كثير في الجافا. Okay. Each person, okay. Total slices. Okay, here person D. Each person can eat. And here I'll say person D, which is share. Tamam. And what else? Fine. Okay, leftovers, صح? Left over and percent D اللي هي leftover and the new line. And now I can go here and say total slices. Here, then we have share, then we have left over. I believe this is it. We test the code and we see if we have a problem. This is going to be printf, and that's it. So let us just give a simple example. How many persons? 4. عندنا 4. How many pizzas? 3. طيب. How many slices per pizza? Oh, there was something in the question. I need to repeat it. Let us say 5. يعني عندنا 15 slice. هيك كل واحد باخد 3 بس بضل 3. ايش في عندنا هون؟ والله ما انتبهت. شو عندنا؟ ايش why get Java unknown number format exception. Next integer. Next integer. Next integer. Here in the output. It is something in, oh, here. I just forgot person D here. So I need to run it again. How many persons? 4. How many pizzas? 3. Slice per pizza 3. So total slices is 15. كل واحد بيقدر ياكل 3 لانه 4 في 3 12 وبضل عندنا 3 اللي حابين يزودوا عندهم ال3 هاي. طيب يا بنات, there was a thing here in the question. Ensure that the number of species comes what? Comes out what? Even. يعني the number of slices must be even. You know what I mean here? You cannot enter an odd slices. So we need to validate this. Tamam. So we cannot allow the user to enter an add value here, slices per pizza. How to do this with while loop? While what? While slice per pizza modulus 2 equal 1. What's going to happen here? If this value is equal 1, we need to tell the user, no, this is not accepted. We will tell him, enter an even number of slices. Yani we only accept even number of slices. And again, so this loop now, the user will keep inputting values until the value must be even number. If it's odd, it will not come to line 18. Let me run this one final time here. Run. How many persons? 5. How many pizzas? 4. How many slices? I'll enter 7 يا بنات. It will not accept 7. It will go to the loop, validation loop here, and it will tell us this is not valid. Okay, وين راح السوليوشن؟ أيوة here. See now, enter an even number. طيب 5 ما في، هاي 6. طيب total slices 24. كل واحد بيقدر ياكل 4 صح؟ وبضل عنا 4. ماشي الحال. So it's all about integer and what and remainder. Does that make sense يا بنات؟